Do you want to make a music video? Today I'll take you through my process, the workflow models, so you can too. Stick around to the end for a little trick that really helped me to get this working in ComfyUI. So let's have a quick look at what we're going to be working on.
Love right there, and it was the best summer of my life.
You get the picture. If you want to see the rest of it, you can get a haircut, take a shower, and meet me behind the bike rack. So here's an overview of my creative process. Had a song thought, went into Suno and generated it, had some more thoughts about the style and the theme of the song, went on to Suno AI to find some lauras, researched some workflows, got some working samples, some images and video, then worked with ChatGPT to come up with some extra ideas and scenes. Then I was generating about 4 to 8 images per scene, then run the image to video workflow, had to throw away about 90% of the clips, and rinse and repeat this until I had enough clips. Put the song together with the clips, did some upscaling to get them to be 1080p, replaced the clips with the bigger versions, figured out what scenes were missing, rinse and repeat music video. Your creative process might look different to this. Overall, mine had a lot of wastage in it, and it ended up being around 1 hour to 1 second of music video, which is music videos need music. Unfortunately, my musical journey peaked when my drum teacher relieved herself of life. RIP Miss Drum. So instead, we will turn to the offspring of GarageBand and HAL 9000. Suno. Just assemble your prompt salad with the style, theme, unresolved childhood trauma, toss it, and let Suno handle the load. Hopefully something comes out that's sticky, memorable, and goes down smooth. If not, you can sweeten it in the edit tab with pineapple or something. And music videos need videos. I would get my prompts from ChatGPT, save the image with the prompt metadata. So I did that by reminding that ChatGPT that it is a 2.1 image to video specialist and to give me titles and prompts in this JSON format. I can then paste this into JSON parser here. I'm loading the checkpoint, the LoRa for the watercolor style, and I also have this watercolor prompt separate because I might not want to do that on every generation. So this JSON is then iterated through, get the prompt using the key and the title. I'm then passing that into the positive prompt. Along with here, I'm putting them together. So we've got a watercolor of, and then the prompt description. I'm also here, I'm taking the prompt and I'm also storing it in the metadata when I'm saving the image. Let's give that a run so we've got something to work with. I can then select the images that I wanted, bulk load them and get the prompt back out from the metadata. I could then pass that image with the original prompt into WAN 2.1 image to video. I had to jerry rig it. So I'm trying to use the CryTools load image metadata. That didn't want to auto load the next image. So I put the images I wanted into the ComfyUI input folder. I could select here and I'd set control after generate to increment. And then say if I was running like 10, I could just put that in here. And every time it would run, it would submit a workflow payload and then it would move on to the next one and just keep going through them. From 20 images, I'd want to get about 80 videos, but it was taking about 10 minutes for 4 seconds. So, you know, there was only so much I could generate. We load the diffusion model image. We then take that raw metadata from before, had to take that any value, turn it into a string, convert the string to JSON, put the JSON in to extract the prompt. Then with the metadata under extra is where I would get that original prompt. Back in the positive prompt, did the same as before, combine the prompts, and then pass in the positive. So if you didn't do this and just pass in the image, the scene wouldn't make sense. That's why I wanted to pass in that data, and it really improved the hit ratio. Small note here, we've got the width of the image, the height the same, and the length, which is the amount of frames to generate. WAN normally works in 16 FPS. 49 divided by 16 is less than 100. And then I would save that again. We'll select which images we like and put them into the input folder to turn them into clips. This will take a while, so open up an incognito window and kill some time. A mild eternity later, we have a couple gestations that wiggled out of the AI womb worth keeping, and a bunch that should have been aborted. AI really is like a box of chocolates. You don't know which ones are shit until you eat them. From there, I would select which clips were good enough, upscale them with face detail. Upscaling, it's not mandatory, and it does a bit more than just dragging an image and making it bigger. Because it is compute intensive, I load the video and I break it up to run in about 4 frames per batch, otherwise my GPU is going to die. Then I'm loading an upscale model here, which is a 4x one. There are other models you can use, and I'm bringing it into Ultima SD Upscale. So here I'm passing in the image. Also loading the model, so the original one, along with the LoRa. So that's the thing that gives it that watercolor style. And I'm loading that into here. Also passing in a watercolor painting prompt, so it triggers the LoRa. I'm not passing in the prompt from the original image because it doesn't really need it, and I didn't figure that out. Here I'm upscaling, passing it into this face detailer. So already faces can be messed up with AI, and as you make the image bigger, it gets even worse. What we do is we find that face, and then we add some detail to it specifically, and then I'm pumping it out and saving it. Here's an example of the difference. On the left is the original. We can have a look at the face here. You can see his face, it doesn't have that much detail. And then here, we can see, right, it's added back in his white around his eyes, it's changed the face, it's cleaned it up a bit. The same with hers. The final piece of this fever dream is editing it all together. You can use whatever software you like. DaVinci is great until it randomly dies. Adobe is expensive because it can be. I'm going to use CapCut because it hasn't left me yet, and Windows discontinued the late great Windows Movie Maker. RIP. I don't have hyper technical tips here, just dump all the good stuff into a timeline, shuffle it into a rough order, and start chopping it down based on what you like. Some scenes want to breathe, others want to sprint like they stole something. Cut to the beat, or more accurately, cut when your head bops. Not every clip should be the same length, or it will feel like a cursed slideshow. Rewatch it a bunch, tweak as you go, and keep at it until either it flows, or mum calls you in for supper. Add a title, then export that banger you lovingly chiseled out of cyber marble in a respectable resolution. Bitrate, let the editor do that. You're an artist, a visionary, not a nerd. Here's just the tip you were waiting for. ComfyUI can be frustrating to have the types match up, or when a node doesn't have a feature that you want. Load image with metadata didn't have a folder or increment feature. To work around that, I converted the widget to an input, then connected a primitive node that had the feature that I wanted. That's it, folks. If you're still here, I now view us not only as best friends, but potential lovers. So if you could like, subscribe, and leave a comment telling me how I can make you feel like a real person, emotionally, spiritually, or physically, we could start making something beautiful together. If you'd like to make your own, the ComfyUI workflows are available for free on my website, link in the description. This is an overview. Let me know if you'd like more details. Peace out.